Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our October 5th council meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Roll call.
Mr. Oja?
Here.
Mr. Menegini?
Here.
Dr. Hayes?
Here.
Mr. Gottstein?
Here.
Mr. Ball?
Yep. Need approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of September 21st. Any additions or corrections?
Make a motion, we approve the minutes for the meeting of September 21st. Support.
Motion made by Dr. Hayes, supported by Lee. Roll call.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Dr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Gottstein?
Yes.
Mr. Ball?
Yep.
Mr. Oja?
Yes. Next, approval manifest 2015-18 in the amount of $568,526.59. Dr. Hayes.
No questions.
Lee.
Last page, page 7, 8, halfway down on the water fund, climb-in pump and well drilling, new pump and labor well site, number 1.
That was the pump on our well number 1 no longer was in operation. We had to get climbing out to replace that pump.
Is that the, what inch line is that?
That is the large 6-inch. Yep. And then there was some issues with the casing, rusted out, so we had to replace the casing also. David told me that Kleiman was looking into that, and Trish, correct me if I'm wrong, but we are looking into putting it in for an insurance claim for lightning damage.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But we don't know yet.
We don't know anything, so at this point.
Okay, that's all I had.
Chris.
That's all I had as well.
George.
I got two, just more information. Page 2. No, that ain't it. Page 1, excuse me. There are servers right in the middle of the first paragraph. Management. Is this a monthly charge, Chris, year-round, or?
Yes.
This,
It's a monthly service charge.
okay,
Per month.
year-round. Okay, and page 5, right in the middle, that body work, Joel, on 211, was it an accident or what?
Yes, that was an incident that happened in the park with the Ford pickup truck, and insurance covered it except for our deductible.
Okay.
Just needed a little bit of body work done on it. We had some dents, and the front directional needed to be replaced, and the front headlight, and so.
Going through these, we got ungodly amount of gloves ordered in this.
Yeah, we have gone through a lot of gloves, and there are gloves that were ordered through All Lift from the summer, that a set that we got billed late on, and then we replaced some gloves. And I also started buying winter gloves, insulated ones, so there is a lot of gloves on here. But I put a lot of winter gloves in stock, because in a couple months they're hard to find.
Okay, that's explained it, Joe. That's what I was going to ask you. There's 12 dozen cases of them sold.
Yeah.
Plus $340 or
Yeah,
$14.
It's not all at one time, it's been through the summer, it just all came at once.
I just was wondering if the,
Yep.
that's all, Jeremy.
I don't have any other questions. So with that, I'm looking for a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion, we approve manifest 2015-18, the amount of $568,526.59.
Support?
Motion made by Chris, supported by George. Roll call.
Dr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Gottstein?
Yes, but abstaining from the GO-TEC charges.
Mr. Ball?
Yeah.
Mr. Oja?
Yes.
Mr. Menigini?
Yes.
Does anyone from the audience wish to address the council on the minutes, manifest, or agenda item? If you do, please come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record. If not, there'll be a further time for comment on any subject at the end of the meeting. Okay, we have two appointments and presentations this evening. The first one is from Efficiency United.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Justin Hardesty. I'm with Efficiency United. I'd first like to thank City Manager Ray Anderson, Utility Superintendent Joe Nickard, members of City Council, Jeff Forbes of WPPI Energy, those in the audience as well as those that are watching via TV. Very happy and gracious to be here tonight. It's very exciting to be part of the Public Power Week kickoff. Our main goal and objective tonight is to inform and create additional awareness, not only with City Council, but with customers of the City of Norway Department of Power and Light regarding the energy efficient opportunities that are available to their customers. First, I'd like to start with explaining who Efficiency United is. We are the energy efficiency programs for 20 member energy providers throughout the state of Michigan. As you can see with the map on the screen, there is a well representation across the entire state, but 14 of those member energy providers reside right here in the UP. Why do the programs exist? One is to incentivize customers who are maybe on the fence deciding whether or not they're going to invest in an energy efficient project. Rebates are offered to the customers who complete those qualified projects. Also in 2008, Public Act PA 295 was passed, which is known as the Clean, Renewable, and Efficient Energy Act. That was passed by Jennifer Granholm, then governor, and members of legislation. It requires regulated electric and natural gas providers to offer energy optimization or efficiency programs to their customers. As part of that act, there was an alternate compliance program that allowed energy providers throughout the state to participate in, as opposed to operating solely on their own. That is the relationship that exists between Efficiency United and the City of Norway Department of Power and Light. As you can see on the screen, this is a hierarchy chart. I want to focus on the first two boxes. The Michigan legislators, they create the laws, pass the laws, and then the Public Service Commission regulates anything that is energy related that passes through the House or Congress. They also regulate Efficiency United, which is the alternate compliance program. If we take a look at some of the reasons why the programs exist from a statewide standpoint, really it's to encourage private investment in energy efficiency. That is residential customers as well as commercial and industrial. As customers complete energy reduction projects, they are essentially using less energy, which equates to avoided future costs that would have otherwise been incurred had they not completed the project. That ultimately leads to greater energy security for the Michigan economy as a whole. Market transformation, well, what this means is essentially as customers invest into energy efficiency projects, generally more contractors are put to work, more customers are purchasing from retail stores. As that activity occurs, generally more manufacturers are producing energy efficient equipment. And also the last part is improve air quality. As I mentioned, part of the PA 295 Act is for clean energy. For example, as businesses implement energy efficiency projects, they essentially reduce their carbon footprint. Focusing back in on the hierarchy chart, as I mentioned before, Michigan legislators create the laws regarding energy. The Public Service Commission regulates those laws, including the alternate compliance program known as Efficiency United. The Public Service Commission hired the nonprofit organization known as Michigan Community Action. They hired installed to implement the program. Those two entities work very closely in parallel path with the City of Norway Department of Power and Light to decide which program offerings will be available to the customers throughout the course of the year. Our program goals, first and foremost, we want to provide project incentives and we want to achieve energy reduction goals. As I mentioned earlier, part of the larger goal of PA 295 is to encourage investment, private investment in energy efficiency projects. Creating customers for life. We as the program and as the City of Norway Department of Power and Light, we don't want customers just to participate once. We want customers to keep thinking energy efficiency and complete more than one project. Certain areas of the program allow us to work with both residential customers and commercial and industrial customers to create energy plans that are over 1 to 3 years. That helps us get on the same page with the customer to not only identify projects, but come up with a plan of how we can complete them together moving forward. Again, market transformation. We want to transform the market, put contractors to work, and have manufacturers producing equipment. Educate. It's not only just about incentives, it's about educating customers on what behavioral changes you can make. Moving forward, there's only so much a customer can do with regards to energy efficiency with installing equipment. Once they hit that optimization point, it's all about behavior and things that you can do in the home as customers to reduce your energy moving forward. Our goal, along with the City of Norway Department of Power and Light, is really to make a difference in the community. Not only just within the City of Norway, but also within the whole entire UP community. Every single day we're out working with a variety of different customers, as you can see, churches, all sorts of residential customers, retail partners, contractors, schools. We actually work with roughly over 100 different contractors throughout the UP, many of whom serve customers that reside right here in the City of Norway. Also 25 different retail partners that we work with throughout the UP. To look at some of that effort from 2012 through 2015, current year to date, these are estimates since the City of Norway Department of Power and Light joined Efficiency United. The program has served 1,282 customers for 1.9 million kWh, 1.9 million kWh in savings reductions, as well as offered customers as a result of completing energy efficient projects $115,529 in incentives. That is a very large impact in the community. To put it in kind of terms that are more relatable, that savings reduction is equivalent to 276 vehicles off the road, 1,310 tons of carbon dioxide, and 3,047 barrels of oil not used as a result of the efforts made over the last 3.5 years. So why should customers of Norway Department of Power and Light participate? Well, saving energy is saving money. There's lots of different entry points. It's very easy to participate. There's higher investment cost opportunities. There's lower investment cost opportunities. Even when you look at something like an LED bulb, that saves 70 to 80% more energy compared to an incandescent bulb. That is potentially roughly $80 in savings over the lifetime of that bulb for a very low investment cost. Today, the cost of LEDs are coming down dramatically compared to where they were several years ago. Sustainability, creating a healthier world, reducing our carbon footprint. What is the world going to look like that we leave behind for future generations? This is something that not only saves you money, but it also helps to make the world a greener place. And then those that are participating, those 1,282 participants, are happy that they participated with a customer satisfaction of over 90%. So now I'll spend the next few minutes talking about the programs that are available different classes of programs. One would be the income qualified residential, and then programs that are available for commercial and industrial customers. So first I'll talk about the Energy Efficiency Assistance Program. This is available to customers that have a lower income with a threshold of 200% of federal poverty guidelines or below. Really, what we're trying to do here is to help customers wherever we can. I do want to just note that this is not a bill assistance program, so this is not something that will provide funding on a bill, but we are working with local apartment complexes that have lower income individuals, as well as some single-family homes. So if you think that you may qualify, by all means, please call the 1-800 number. It's 1-877-367-3191. Just to highlight a couple projects, we did work with Strawberry Lake Apartments and Bluffs Edge Apartments. Over the last several years, we put energy plans in place with them. We replaced many inefficient refrigerators with new Energy Star refrigerators, as well as replaced the lighting within the facilities. Residential programs, this is a program that's available to all customers. It's the Appliance Recycling Program, and the goal here is to take older secondary working refrigerators that are typically energy hogs and pull them off the grid. Same with older window air conditioning units and dehumidifiers. It is a very simple process for customers to be a part of. Simply visit efficiencyunited.com, navigate your way to the appliance recycling page for Norway Department of Power and Light, and it's very easy to schedule pickup for this. But I do want to mention that there is a limited window of when our program partner will come to pick up the refrigerator. That's when winter hits. So we're coming down to about the last month. So if there's anybody who has that opportunity, please take advantage of that while funding this. The Home Performance Program. This really focuses on mechanical equipment, water heating equipment, as well as insulation. So the envelope of a home, and this is really geared towards customers that have central air conditioning, electric heat, baseboard heat, electric furnace, or electric water heaters. I do want to mention that is a smaller population, we know that, but it's worth noting that DTE Energy Gas has their program as well for customers that have natural gas furnaces and natural gas water heaters. Here again, what we're focusing on is customers that have electric heat, an older electric water heater. There's many pieces of equipment that are out there that are more efficient today. And then insulation. Certainly, a lot of folks can benefit from looking at what kind of insulation they can take advantage of. And then the joint energy efficiency plans, we currently have a limited number that are still available to customers that have electric water heat. We've been working very close with the electric department to keep a sign-up sheet here at City Hall to identify and get customers signed up. What that is, again, is it's a couple-year plan where we identify energy efficiency projects and what the customer might be able to do to improve their performance moving forward. The Energy Star program, this is rebates to increase installations of Energy Star equipment. We'd be looking at ceiling fans, washers, dryers, televisions, room air conditioners, and especially lighting. We actually partner with Family Dollar here in Norway. Very easy to participate. The customer walks into the store. They'll have certain LEDs that are on sale. Walk to the register. They offer an instant discount right there at the register. That's something that we do throughout the UP. Rebate off your bill. That's a program that we sort of piloted with the City of Norway Department of Power and Light. Last year we put that in place. It was something that we wanted to do that, as well as the city wanted to do to help make things easier for their customers from a processing standpoint. It is eligible for the same things that I had just mentioned, and since last year we've had about 160 participants that have actually brought their receipts into the city for purchasing equipment to take advantage of the And then days of energy savings, those are held sporadically throughout the year. We set up a booth, there's lots of information that's available on the programs. We sell discounted products such as LEDs, so much like Norway Family Dollar. When you come here to one of our events, for example, City Hall here, October 8th and 9th, from 9 to 2, we will be selling discounted LED bulbs to customers in Norway, City of Norway Department of Power and Light. Residential education programs. Every year, over the last 3.5 years, we've been working with 4th and 6th grade classrooms. Here in Norway, that would be Norway Elementary. We educate them on some of the basic things regarding energy and some of the things that they can do even from a very young age with regards to improving behavior. We send them home with energy efficiency kits that they actually give to their parents install them. And the whole goal is to create awareness regarding energy efficiency and the programs. And that's been very well received over the last several years. The complimentary online energy audit. If you're not sure where to start as a customer, this is something that's very easy to navigate to on the efficiencyunited.com website. It's 8 to 10 simple questions that will produce a very comprehensive report highlighting some of the lower to no cost things that you can do, as well as some of the longer term, higher investment type options that may be available as well. The commercial and industrial programs, prescriptive and custom. This is where we work with local businesses to identify energy efficiency projects. And then we essentially qualify them with you, and then we see them through with you through completion, and then offer a incentive or a rebate for doing so. Again, here, one of our main goals is to create customers for life. Joint energy efficiency plans, several years, and that's really helped us get on the same page with a lot of businesses that we work with. C&I education, Michigan Commercial and Industrial Conferences. Typically that is held late March, early April. We strongly encourage any customer in the City of Norway Department of Power and Light to join. Great energy learning opportunities. It's a one-day event and it's very, very well received. As I mentioned before, there's an online audit that's available to residential customers. There's the same tool that's available to commercial and industrial customers, and that is complimentary as well. So how to participate? Simply, there's several different ways. The city hall staff, the Department of Power and Light is more than willing to answer any questions. We do have a 1877 number. We encourage you to call that number. We'll be able to help you out with any questions you have. And then visiting the efficiencyunited.com website. Just really quickly, just to show how simple the process is to participate. This is a general high-level overview. Really, it's the customer decides they want to participate. They want to be more energy efficient. They identify a project, purchase and install the equipment. Step 3, submit the completed application to Efficiency United, and then they'll receive an incentive for doing so. So how as customers can you help? Spread the word. Any customers that have participated in the past, we certainly would love to have you be a program advocate moving forward. As a customer maybe who hasn't taken advantage of the program, take advantage of them while they're here. Because you never know how long they're actually going to be here. And then again, reach out to Efficiency United, the City of Norway, or visit efficiencyunited.com. So thank you for your time. Much appreciated.
Any questions? Okay, thank you. Okay, next we have an appointment. The agenda says to the Norway Area Planning Commission, but it's actually to the Norway Area Zoning Board of Appeals. This was one that we had one empty seat for, and we've had, in the last week, received 2 applications for. So since I had said I would resign if somebody wanted the seat because I was filling it because we had no interest, I'm also going to be resigning from my seat on the Zoning Board of Appeals. to make way for the two applicants to both be able to sit. Anything else on that?
No.
Any questions, comments?
Can we break this down into two instead of both at one time? Just go with the first one and go with the second one?
Yeah, because it's actually two different positions. One's the alternate seat and one's the alternating seat.
Exactly. And I would like to make a motion that we appoint, I'm not sure if I have the pronunciation of his name right, this James Timkowski? Is that right? Tembrowski, oh, okay. To be appointed to the Norway Area Zoning Board, Board of Appeals,
Which seat?
the regular seat,
The alternating.
the alternating seat, okay.
Second.
Motion made by Lee, supported by Chris. Roll call.
Mr. Gottstein?
Yes.
Mr. Ball?
Yeah.
Mr. Oja?
Yes.
Mr. Menigini?
Yes.
Dr. Hayes?
Yes.
Okay, the next applicant was Sam Fall.
Jeremy, I got some difficulties with Sammy's. First of all, the names he used are for preferences, he didn't have permission to put them on.
Okay.
So I don't think his application should be good.
Okay.
I know we had problems getting him, but I kind of against falsifying applications to get your name on.
What's the feeling of the rest of the council?
Well, it was brought to my attention, I didn't think nothing about it until it was brought to my attention that two of these three names on here did not give him permission to do that. And you just don't do that. I don't care if it's for a position or a job, whatever it is, it's not right.
Okay. Well, with saying that, you haven't accepted my resignation yet, and you appointed the first applicant to the alternate seat. So we do still have a full zoning board. I can still
So
see,
you
I'm
will
still
stay on,
seated
okay.
as the alternate.
Do we have to reappoint you then, or
No,
just not, that's it?
You just didn't accept my resignation.
Okay, we didn't accept your resignation, okay.
Okay, is that the feeling of the council? Okay. And that's how we'll do. We've appointed Jim Temrowski as the alternate, at the alternating seat, and then I will stay on as the alternate. This will create a little issue with the township because they recently appointed Ron Matonich, who's also a board member, and you can't have two board members serving at the same time. But we'll deal with that issue when we have to. Okay, next on the agenda, we have Resolution 2015-21, proclamation recognizing Public Power Week. Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As my report indicates, on behalf of the American Public Power Association and joining other members, associate of public power across the United States, find the attached information and proclamation recognizing October 4th through the 10th as Public Power Week. City of Norway has been a proud member of the public power community, providing a valuable and important asset for not only the citizens of the City of Norway, but also the entire Norway area. I'm going to go on reading that, my report, but we're proud to be a public power agency. And there's a lot of statistics you can get out on the internet that shows the value across the nation of public power. I've been fortunate enough to join the APPA in Washington, D.C. numerous occasions. They advocate very well for public power and the local control that it brings. And so we would like to entertain this proclamation by the City Council recognizing this week as a Public Power Week.
Part of what we're going to be doing, if you come down to City Hall on October 8th or 9th, With your most recent utility bill, to verify you're in good standing and account holder, you'll be able to register for prize drawing. There'll be four grand prizes drawn. That's October 8th and 9th, Thursday and Friday of this week. Any questions, comments? Joe, anything you want to add?
Efficiency United will be here on those days also in the lobby, giving discounts on LED bulbs and other things that they have, water-saving devices. And then we have some other stuff going on in the lobby. There's a bicycle out here that you can light up light bulbs with. It's got a generator on it. You can see how much energy it takes to light different bulbs. And what's interesting was you try to light incandescent bulbs and you see how hard it is to pedal, and you switch it over while you're pedaling to LEDs, and it's a lot easier. So it's kind of fun, just a fun thing to do, educational stuff.
Chris, George, anything?
No.
I guess I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion that the City Council of Norway, City of Norway, recognize October 4th through the 10th as Public Power Week by passing the attached resolution 2015-20.
21. It's changed to 21.
Oh, 21, okay.
Second.
Motion made by Lee, supported by Chris. Roll call.
Mr. Ball?
Yes.
Mr. Oja?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Dr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Gottstein?
Yes.
Next, we have approval traffic control order T15-01. This is the traffic control order to return K Street by where Stone Road Coffee was, heading down toward where Multicolor was, and the alley that came off there. It's going to be returned to two-way traffic. Currently, it's just what was one way in. Due to the due to Stone Road's driveway, it required it to be only one way. With that not there anymore, it's going to be returned to two-way. Any questions, comments?
The neighbors had no problem with that?
No, I'm in favor of that.
Very good.
Looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion that traffic control order TC 15-01 be approved.
Support.
Motion made by Lee, supported by George. Roll call. Mr.
Oja?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Dr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Gottstein?
Yes.
Mr. Ball?
Yeah.
Okay, next we have traffic control order TC 15-02. This is a traffic control order to take the west side of Odell Drive from US 2 down to the end and make it no parking. That would only allow parking on the side of the road, same opposite side as the museum, same side as the churches. Well, the first church. Otherwise, it would be only one way, because right now the road is too narrow. When the museum has an event, if people are parking on both sides, it can be dangerous and difficult to get on the road and get out of the road.
I think this is a good move because I have been out there at assorted museum dealings, and with people parking on both sides of the road there, it is dangerous. So this is a very good move.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Otherwise, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion that traffic order TC 15-02 be approved.
Support.
Motion made by Chris, supported by George. Roll call.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Dr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Gottstein?
Yes.
Mr. Ball?
Yep.
Mr. Oja?
Yes. Approval, Freedom of Information Act Procedures and Guidelines. Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This past year, the Michigan legislature made some revisions to the state's Freedom of Information Act, and mostly in notification and reporting, and how we handle our public notices on FOIA. Worked with Grant on coming up with a new revised Freedom of Information Act policy procedure for City Hall that is in compliance with the new act, and we do have resolution 2015-21 for your review and approval.
I was mistaken earlier. I thought we had a change in numbers. Lee, your resolution was 20. Okay.
I changed it on here already. We'll go back.
Yeah, I just was, that one was supposed to be 20. I messed up on which one was
No
changed.
problem.
Okay. Any questions? Otherwise, I'm looking for a motion. Grant, Grant, did you have a chance to look this over? Are we gonna now be in compliance?
Well, I drafted it, so I was, no,
Did you read it?
I read it a few different times, Jeremy. The changes that they made, I just attended a municipal attorneys conference in Marquette last Friday with my colleague from Iron Mountain, not at the taxpayer's expense, on my expense. And this is one of the issues that did come up, was the changes to the FOIA requirements and the intricacies of some of the changes they made as well. So we were ahead of the game a little bit on having this drafted up, and I do have additional forms that we're finishing up. They'll present to Ray for utilization and make it a little easier for the public to try to understand some of the changes. But the biggest thing is some of the timeframes, and also on the city staff trying to figure out the costs that are involved. And one of the speakers from the city of Grand Rapids, they have full-time employees. I think she said 3. That's all they do is deal with FOIA requests. And they've actually gotten to the point where they've stopped charging for FOIA requests, because they simply trying to calculate it under the new formulas is more time-consuming than actually just doing it and giving it to the folks that are requesting it. So, but these are in compliance, and I've read through them a few times. So.
There's no other questions. Looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion that the amended Freedom of Information Act procedures and guidelines be approved.
That's resolution 2015-21.
Oh, okay, I didn't see it on here.
It's not on there. It was on the table when we came in. I'll support it. Motion made by Lee, supported by myself. Roll call.
Dr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Gottstein?
Yes.
Mr. Ball?
Yeah.
Mr. Oja?
Yes.
Mr. Menigini?
Yes.
Okay, next we have the amendment to long-term power supply contract with WPPI. Mr. Anderson.
You want to do the
Is that next?
project engineering?
Oh, okay.
We can go through the amendment.
U.S. Department of Agricultural, Rural Development, Wastewater Treatment Plant Project Engineering Amendment. Oh. Bruce, you want to come up and talk? Okay.
All of you got a letter, I'm sure, that will about this very detailed. A lot of time to put that together so that all of the facts associated with this whole thing are in that. And through it, I would see if anybody had any questions about the content of what was in it. No sense spending a lot of time reading.
Any questions?
Well, I don't have a question, I got more of a statement than anything. Because the rules were changed, or the, what would you call it, the
It wasn't rules, it was
procedures?
changes in philosophy, but
Okay, changes in philosophies. It's gonna cost us more money, and it just seems every time that something changes or somebody screws up, not a screw up in this case, why do we have to pay for it? I just get so disgusted on that.
I basically feel the same thing, Bruce. I think this should be something that should be negotiated between your company and the city.
well, it wasn't anything that we did, George.
Yeah, but it wasn't anything that we did either.
And I understand Lee's comment, and I can't disagree with it. But I guess it's the funding agency that created all of this, and you're not gonna get them. I mean, what you're gonna get them to do is make this an eligible pass out of project funds. It's not in
But the bottom line is, we're still paying. The bottom line is, we're still paying.
You're not paying any more. Okay?
What, we're not getting anything for it.
Well, you did. You actually got all of the things that they requested and required done. And we didn't have any choice, nor did the city have any choice the way this thing came down. So, you know,
I mean, excuse me, Bruce, you're still making your money regardless. That's why I say, my feeling is this should be a negotiable item between you and your company and the city. Your profit is still up there, you're not
you
losing
think
a
that
penny.
we should eat some of that cost
Right.
for doing what the funding agency requested.
It ain't our fault.
Isn't our fault either.
Okay, that's my point. You pass every mistake or adding an item just as passed on to the consumer and they pay and no question that.
Well, I don't agree with you, I guess, on the philosophy of that. I do agree with what Lee said, that it's unfortunate, and I've seen this happen time and again, where the government comes up with things and makes communities do things that cost them money that you would think it shouldn't have costed or they shouldn't have done. But we have no control over that.
The actual grant, Ray, how much are we actually getting for nothing?
It's a loan. All the
It's
funding
all a loan? This is strictly all a loan?
on the wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah, on the first phase is the
first
loan,
phase.
and the second
Second
phase
phase
is the
is-
grant.
There's a
a
grant
grant.
component on the sewer side of that part of the project. But it's all loan funds. The funds have been obligated. And what it really boils down to is that this comes out of what went in on it as a 10% contingency. It comes out and it's not available for something else that we might need a contingency for. You may or may not. It all is gonna hinge on how bids come in when we bid it. We go into this thing with a line item that has a 10% construction contingency, and after all costs are known, what rural development likes to do is reduce that down to 3%. So, in the end, we don't know until we get all the costs. This may not really have any impact. If bids come in well, but down the road with the, if you recall, we had these items that we wanted to do over and above what was in the original scope, some of which we went ahead with, some of which we held in abeyance in case there was funds. The reality is that this then takes away from that pot of money to do something. But I don't feel, to be honest, I don't feel it's fair that when we did all this work in good faith, because they required it, that we should pay for it.
Bruce, you're talking, there were two factors in this, the first one being the rules change, and the second factor with the SCADA.
Well, that wasn't as much a factor in additional cost, Chris, as it was in not being able to potentially be able to cover this in the budget we had. But that didn't really create any additional costs that we're looking for. But we had a budget, a design budget, and we would have not used as much of that budget had it not been for the Jeff Towson situation, which I think is a good thing for the city. But that did not contribute. We're not saying that any additional costs are because of that. I pointed that out, and maybe I wasn't clear enough. It's in the context that added to our total cost would let us not be able to do what we thought we might be able to in the end, and that is absorb this in the budget we had. Okay? And I didn't know that till we got to the end. That's why it didn't come up early on. Because we had and do have, used a pretty significant design budget on this project. And when all this stuff was going on, and Ray and I talked at length don't usually look at doing that until we get into an extremely long time frame. And if we were to actually take a look at that contractual inflationary stuff, we might be more than what this is. And we're not gonna do that. We're not, still not gonna do that. So, this was the best way to approach it, I thought. Yeah. Is what it is.
I mean, I agree with Lee on this, that it's, I think it's unfortunate.
I know, and I don't have an answer to it, because, you could go to this funding agency or any other one that comes up with some of these kinds of things and say that to them. And what are they gonna do? They're gonna say, you want our money? You jump through the hoops, we tell you gotta jump through. And I was pretty amazed that this thing went back and forth as many times as it did, so I've never had that happen. It was just, George, you remember, you signed and signed and signed and signed. I
That
still
was
have
it.
piles of the applications.
About 8 years ago. I still feel the same thing, because the bottom line is, I think, the cost would be split. That's my feelings on it. I mean, you go through and no matter what you do, you don't lose a penny. I mean, you don't take a gambles or nothing. You're gonna make your X number of dollars regardless if the project goes or not.
We may get through this bidding, George, and we may have to eat some costs if we're over. Because I'm not gonna, if we don't have a reason, and for some reason we are over our budget, I'm not coming to this council for more money just because we're over our budget. And we could be, because I've had to throw some darts on that. So that has happened. That has happened. So it's not that we don't take any risks, we do. And we don't come looking for extra money unless we feel we got a justifiable cause for it. And I feel this is. And that's why you got the letter, that's why I'm here.
You know my feelings.
Any other questions or comments?
Could you make some public comments on this?
Well, you know, Bruce and I have been working on this since 2006, and I've been involved in those meetings with rural development, and I can understand the frustration. Absolutely, I'm frustrated as well. We've had conversations outside of Gladstone, in Lansing, or, well, this is federal, but they're still located in Lansing, and we've aired those comments. It's, again, I mean, it's unfortunate, but a lot of times, it's the added unfunded mandate that we get, not just from this agency, but from all the agencies. We've seen it, I've seen it for the 16 years I've been here. It's been 10 years, we're going on 10 years. It's a long time, and, you know, we've worked hard at getting the application. There was initially there was some question about the ownership. You know, we had to go through that whole process with the authority, work with the township. Those are all delays, but unfortunately, those are also some increased costs. You know, I've worked closely with Bruce through this whole process, and you know, we tried to make it work out.
Bruce was aware of the day he stepped in on his project, the hurdles that we had to jump to and we're gonna face. So I don't see that the city blindsided Bruce in any way.
I didn't say we blindsided him. I
No,
said that.
I mean, he knew,
Yeah,
Bruce
I didn't
knew
know
up
this.
front.
But I didn't know we were gonna be going through this. That is not normal for a project. I knew we had a funding application, I know some of the things that happened.
Right,
Those
I mean,
would have been issues.
you talked to them day one, what the hurdles we were gonna have to jump.
The city didn't do anything in this. It was all back and forth with this 2 two applications, one for one sewer project, two sewer projects, one sewer project, two sewer projects, after we got through the authority. That was all the funding agencies stuff, and I've never seen that happen before that many times. I have had an occasion where we've had a project that they wanted to separate into two applications instead of one. That doesn't become that big a deal. And if that would've happened here, I wouldn't be even standing here. But this thing went on and on and on. It took so long, and we had to revise this thing so many times because of what they wanted. It just, the cost mounted.
Are you recommending we approve this request?
I recommend you approve it based on, you know, the contract is between the city and Mead and Hunt. Going to rural development, and, which we've done, and complained about the extra time and cost that it takes us when they make those requests, we've done, and they've treated us like every other agency that basically this is what we want, as Bruce said. Frustrating, yes, but unless you want to try and, like George said, try to negotiate some kind of difference. I mean, we've worked for how many years at hoping that this would be absorbed. I mean, we got $700,000 of engineering costs on the $5 million project. I mean, it's a very complicated project, so that's total now. That's not what's spent to date. But, you know, you have opportunities through that time that things go well, and you don't spend as much. You know, that's quite a large figure. So we had to pick a time when you look at it and say, you gotta even up, or, you know, decide if you're gonna have the amendment or move on. And
Yeah, I mean, we had to
time,
adjust this.
time's not a good factor in these things, you know. So,
You know, my perception is, because I don't make decisions that way anymore, like I did at one time. My perception is it's gonna be difficult with the facts as they are, to convince management and me now that they should participate in any of the costs. I mean, if it was anything at all to do with something that we might have done, then the door would be open. And we do that. I mean, there's been projects where there's been an issue that we weren't necessarily totally at fault, okay? And we coughed up like 30 grand to fix something. I won't get into the details, but it isn't that, and I can tell you that, it isn't that me and Hunt ever tries to be unfair about anything. And I wouldn't have brought this to you if I didn't think it was legit.
Bruce, you think the fact that, like Ray said, over the 10-year period, that there are a lot of dragging their feet on all sides here,
I don't think I said that.
contribute to the fact that it took so long?
Well, the crux is that when we started out, and of course, we didn't submit the first set of funding applications in '06, that's when we kind of started planning everything. But the first time around, and I say this in the correspondence you have, we submitted a funding application in the name of the authority on the sewer side because everybody thought that the authority owned the entire sewer system. Even RD thought that. So that's what we did. The first issue we had was, turns out through auditors and others that, that wasn't the case. And I can recall Ray Anderson having a pretty arduous debate with Dwayne Reed about that fact, Dwayne thinking that the auditors are wrong, the attorneys are wrong, based on what he perceived. So then we had to go back and change it the first time. And if that would have been the only thing that happened, and these things take time when you have to go back and revise stuff, and then they go to them, and just things aren't done quickly. If that would have been somewhat, they figured out how they could fund these for you faster, and it didn't have all of the same opinion at the same point in time. So they weren't trying to, make things worse. They were actually, various people were trying to make them better in terms of when they get the money allocated. As a matter of fact, the treatment plant, being a separate project, got funded out of Washington funds that other states didn't use sooner than the other project did. So in fact, if that's a benefit, and they thought it was, it was a good thing when those two projects ended up being broken apart. The thing is, had already decided to do that one time, and the state office said, no, we're not doing it. And then DC said, yeah, we are, and we were back and forth. With big submittals, it took time to review, and whatever, and then wrong we go again. And it just went on. And I think the final applications weren't submitted till was it, the final ones, were they 12? I can't remember if they were 2011 or 12. Now, the first ones were submitted in 06, but they probably were submitted in, I don't remember, 07-ish. So we were probably a good 4 years of back and forth stuff.
What happens if we don't approve this?
Well, then the ball really bounces back to us. What we're saying is, if you don't approve it, then this thing can be done. If we're not gonna approve this, therefore, you're not gonna get paid for all this. Then there'll be discussions probably with some other people than myself.
What are your feelings, Jeremy?
Well, I tend to agree with George. Especially with talking about dragging the feet. We were talking over a year ago to bid phase 2, have phase 2 ready to go to bid. We're not even close to it.
No,
Phase one isn't even been bid yet.
Phase 1 is being held up by all legal stuff. We've been ready to go for a long time.
Right, but we were talking about bidding phase 2 over a year ago, starting construction this past summer.
No.
Yes, we were.
No, I never said that.
Yeah,
I never said that. I said that the best case scenario is we could bid it this fall, but chances are this is gonna be a next year project.
that was last year.
Yeah, but that's what I said.
We could bid it that fall and have it construction this year.
No, I never said anything that would lead you to believe that I was optimistic about starting construction this year, except I may have said that if things go extremely well, we might get it off the ground late in the year. I might have said that back a couple of years ago. Okay, but I've never been optimistic about this project being off the ground this past summer.
Jeremy, I'll have to agree with Bruce. Because I was under the assumption, this time of year, the bids would be hopefully in.
Right, but this was, I'm talking last year,
Yeah.
the bids were supposed to
No,
be in before phase 2.
I never
But that's
thought
the treatment
this
plant,
thing
Jeremy.
was
That was
going.
what
No.
we thought we'd do with the treatment plant.
No, that was phase 2, that was with the system.
Well, regardless,
You probably heard that, I don't remember being that up.
Of course you don't remember.
Doc, what are your feelings?
Well, I don't think it's anything that Mead and Hunt did. I guess I've always disliked paying large engineering costs, but that's part of the whole system, I guess. I guess I don't know why it would take 10 years to get a project and why you'd have to add cost from go to 2 to 1 to 2 to 1. I thought we could use the same engineering, whether it was 2 or 1, either time.
This didn't change the engineering cost for design. This was all stuff that was done during the funding application stage. This had no impact on design costs.
To just going back and forth, you're saying.
Yeah, it was all during the funding application stage. This was all costs that were incurred before the projects were even funded.
And so if we approve this, does that mean that we're gonna go ahead with the projects and when, do we have a timetable, an estimate now of when they're gonna be carried out?
Well, I can't tell you on the wastewater treatment plant project because everything that's left to do is legally connected to the legal stuff. The easements that we had to get again, that's all being handled by Steve Timke. So I to those issues or issues with bidding? Because the legal package is not gonna hold that project up. We are having a design walkthrough tomorrow, actually, on phase 2 of everything. Guys are gonna be here, and we're gonna walk all the streets with the plans and see what we can find as a glitch. So our goal is to have everything submitted for the DEQ permit before the holidays.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Otherwise, I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion that the proposed amendment be approved for Mead and Hunt for a price not to exceed $40,000 to bring the total engineering amount to $717,900.
Support.
Motion made by Chris, supported by Dr. Hayes. Roll call.
Mr. Gottstein?
Yes.
Mr. Ball?
No?
Mr. Oja?
No.
Mr. Menigini?
No.
Dr. Hayes?
Yes.
Okay, motion fails. Next on the agenda, Resolution 2015-22, Amendment to the Long-Term Power Supply Contract. Joe?
There is request by WPPI to extend the contract that we are under with them for membership within the Joint Action Agency and our participation in the wholesale power purchasing from WPPI. Looking out into the future, they're asking all the members to do this. Norway is not the only one. A third of the members have already passed this and extended their contracts. There are some large facilities that WPPI would like to invest in for more power, and the only way that they can get their bond money is by showing that they have a place to sell that power to. So basically, what this is by us extending our contract and all the other municipals for WPPI extending their contract, they then can go out and secure the bonds needed to invest more money in clean coal, combined cycle gas plants, nuclear plant, whatever they see fit to do, to keep providing these communities with the low-cost, low-carbon power supply.
Joe, I don't have any concerns at all, because I feel it's a very good relationship we got with them. But I would like to see on the contract that if any reason whatsoever that we want to leave and go a different route or anything else, that we can do so with no strings attached or no penalties.
Well, that's impossible, I would think.
Yeah. I can't answer that for you, George.
No, I know you can't. Joe.
That's going to be between the attorneys. If I have my doubts that would fly, because then the bonding agencies that are going to look at WPPI and say, well, you have all these outs for these places, and they would not be able to get their bonds that they need to keep increasing their power supply. So,
I don't feel any problems.
yeah. I don't
But
see any issues
I
either.
would like to, if need be, that we can bail out if we have to without losing an arm and a leg.
Okay. Well, there's no way to answer that this evening.
No, I know that.
You know, if the rest of the council feels that way, then you're going to have to table it, I guess, and with that question
That would
to
be
get
the nice,
answered.
the best of two worlds.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to get that.
WPPI has been very good to us, which means they've been very good to our customers. And I really see why we shouldn't go along with this. I know they're not in a rush yet, but they wanted to get it done by the first of the year.
Yes, that's correct.
And I've been through this a couple different times already, and I'm all for it, although if we want to wait another month, I'm sure it's not going to hurt anything.
Personally, I don't like the idea. We're less than 10 years into our last 40-year agreement. I don't like the fact that you want to tie the city up now for another 40 years, when with the way technology is and the restrictions this contract has on our ability to generate and some of our ability to do stuff, I don't think it's a good idea to tie the city in like that for that long, especially only 10 years into our current agreement. If we were further along in the current agreement, maybe I'd take a look at it then, but we're less than a quarter of the way through that.
Well, and one thing, Joe, maybe you misspoke when you mentioned looking into other alternative sources. You said clean coal. I
Yeah.
don't believe there's anything out there right now that's considered clean coal according to the EPA,
Liquefied coal is cleaner than regular burning coal.
but will it pass EPA regulations?
I don't know.
We don't know.
That could, like everything else changes, that could change too, so. But that is a key in today's energies. Clean coal is one thing they're looking at.
Can I make a motion, we approve it? We approve it, we
Extend the
just
contract.
extend it, just
Okay. Next meeting?
next meeting? Make a motion, we hold off till next meeting.
Okay.
Second.
Motion made by Lee, supported by Chris. Roll call.
Mr. Ball?
Yeah.
Mr. Oja?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Dr. Hayes?
No.
Mr. Gottstein?
Yes.
Okay, last on the agenda, approval Jake Mangini Museum art show signs. The Jake Mangini Museum has requested that they be allowed to use some of the public property to put signs up for the art show during Leif Erikson. That location is Ed's Market, City Hall by the band shell, Pocket Park Corner, by Maxine's Bridal Corner, and on the highway by the museum going east and west. Lee, do you have anything? I know you're on the museum board. Do you have anything to?
No, I just noticed they didn't have a size of their sign there. I'm
They
assuming
said it's a
just little-
sandwich board sign, so I don't know how. I would imagine, yeah, it's kind of like you.
I just, I'm all for this, but I have to make a little comment. I had to run up to the VA this morning, and I noticed along the way, there's 5 signs that are in violation. I won't even say what they're for, but I just thought it was kind of funny. They're not the museum signs.
I make a motion, we approve the Jake Mangini Museum art show signs.
Support.
Motion made by Dr. Hayes, supported by Lee. Roll call.
Mr. Oja?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Dr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Gottstein?
Yes.
Mr. Ball?
Does anyone from the public wish to address the council on any subject? If you do, please come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Okay, seeing none. Chris?
Nothing tonight?
George?
No.
I just got a couple items there. That, in your comments, Ray, the building for Coleman Engineering on 14th Avenue, I see the city allowed $20,000. In your comments there. If you put the figures,
Krause.
if the project is supposed to cost $20,000, we used up 60% of it, the project on engineering.
For the engineering, you're right. The rest is for the construction. When it goes forward, there's construction engineering. That's the remainder of the project, but we tabled the project or canceled the
Yeah,
project.
I know you cabled it, but
Right.
I kind of amazing that you get a bid out a project and your engineering is more than the cost of doing the project.
Well, the project was more than that.
I thought,
We approved the engineering last year, and they moved forward with it. We had an engineer's estimate on what the project would be good for.
So
I mean-
that's what I,
Right.
you know, I was amazed that 60% of the project is engineering. It doesn't need much less, I guess. That's all.
Dr. Hayes.
I could point out, I'm the only one who voted against it. It's my own comment.
Lee.
Under the billing here, just curiosity more than anything, I see assist Oakcrest here. We're in negotiations, whatever you want to call it, breaking away from Oakcrest. Are they picking up half the tab on the lawyer fees?
It's all negotiable.
It's all negotiable, okay. I had a couple of items here. Let's see. Okay, don't forget this weekend, we got our Leif Erikson Festival. Hopefully it'll be bigger and better than ever. A lot of people have put a lot of time into this, and anytime you can bring people outside the community in here, it's good for everybody. The weatherman says that things should be okay, but if you want to believe the weatherman, that's up to you. And I noticed tonight, and I had a chuckle on it, when I came in, we got our new plow sitting across the street. With the wing on it, the sander, the whole ball of wax. And I thought it was really something with the Leif Erikson Festival. The body of the truck is by Olson, and the box on it is by Svensson. I don't know if this was by plan, but I thought it was pretty good. That's all I have to say.
George.
I see equipment on the intersections, they are desetting and catch basins.
Yeah, that's all part of the project.
Are they gonna go right down Main Street?
They are, but they're going to stop on Wednesday because of Leif Erikson. They're going to make sure everything's buttoned up, and then they'll pick it up again next week.
Traffic problems, gonna interrupt in any place?
Shouldn't be. I mean, they have, they're going to be working one location at a time. They're not going to be spread out across the main streets.
Excuse me, I forgot one thing. Joe, are we gonna have them boards set up for them? Because there was a little blip in the system last year. I think
Yes,
they're moving it to here. We're all
It's
set on
scheduled
that?
to be installed tomorrow morning.
Okay.
And some picnic tables, because they're moving the food over
Right.
to the band shell area. So we're gonna grab some picnic tables out of the park and haul them over so people have places to sit.
I don't have anything tonight. Joe.
No, I was just gonna comment on the new truck, but that's already been taken care of.
Lee, Mary. Sure. Brent.
Nope, thanks.
Ray.
I think you're gonna have a hard time with this. If it's a county plowing or a city of Norway, on the districts with the new plow.
Need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Motion supported by George. Motion made by Chris, supported by George. Roll call.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Dr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Gottstein? Mr. Ball?
Yes.
That's it?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.